All right, we're going to go ahead and wait for that audio to come through. And once it does, we'll get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. My name is Kenny Phases. Today we're going to be doing live modeling requests. If you're just getting here, welcome back to the live stream. Or if you're new, welcome to your first live stream with CG Cookie. I'm super happy to have you here today. So we're going to go ahead and get started and just kind of go through some old projects while we have your requests coming in. So your goal should be to think of something you would like me to model, or just go through the process on how to create pretty much anything in Blender. We're kind of focused on more modeling today, modeling, rendering, things like that, materials. But your goal should be to put in the comments what you want to see modeled, and then I will try to model it in Blender. That is our current active thing that we're working on right now. So if you have a suggestion, go ahead and drop it. So let's go ahead and say here, comment below, comment what you want to see modeled in Blender. Boom. So if you're just getting here, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're looking for here. Comment what you want to see modeled in Blender today. Go ahead and drop it in the comment, and if I can, I will get to it. So comment on the right hand side. Go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. Let us know what you want to see modeled in Blender, and we will give it a go. A cat? You want to see a cat modeled in Blender? Okay, that could be something we could try. Futuristic drone. That sounds interesting. Okay, let's get a few more suggestions going here. How's everybody doing today? A cape. A cape like a cape on a superhero type of thing. A futuristic drone could be really cool. We could definitely do something like that. A cape could be interesting as well. A pizza. Pizza. Daniel, are you hungry for pizza? Is that why you're saying that, my friend? The drone seems the most interesting to me, although cat kind of seems interesting because we're not always modeling like organic things, right? We're like, obviously we have like this shoe, which isn't necessarily organic. There are organic shapes on there, but it's not necessarily something that I would consider like organic. So yeah, we can pretty much do anything. I like the idea of a futuristic drone. I think that could be kind of cool. Yeah, I think futuristic drone might be the move. Oh yeah, the F1 car. You know what? We have to do that because I promised that we would do that. All right, so let's do the F1 car, and then we'll get into something else. F1, I don't know, car. It's not really a car, is it? It's more of like a race car, if you will. So we need like blueprints, but we'll go with man, this will be a tough one, but we'll try it out. I'll do F1 car blueprint. Do they want us to have the blueprints? Probably not. This would be perfect. This is exactly what I need, but I need it to be... Let's see if we can get a bigger size here. This size isn't going to work. This one claims to be a big-sized image, but then it's not really a big-sized image. You love to see my videos? Thank you. Robo Dino? That could be cool, too. Ooh, look at this. This thing's pretty slick looking. Oh, is this like a... Oh, this is like an old Formula 1 car. That thing is pretty sick. Oh, that's really cool looking. Wow. I need, what I really need is like, I need the side. This is going to be tough because of the toughest part about this is having enough angles of the vehicle. This one might work. This one could potentially work. Because I'm not very familiar with like what these F1 cars really look like. I mean, I've seen them before. This might be a little bit easier. For the guy that said F1, is there a particular model that you were looking at? Like a specific one that you wanted to see mocked up? This might be a good... See, like this could be a good example of like kind of what I'm looking for here in terms of like... Oh, wow, look at that. Nice little topology challenge there. Yeah. All right, let's see. I guess I'll just choose one. I'll just choose one that I think looks cool, and we'll try our absolute best. F1 cars are tough here. How about we'll do this F1 2026. We'll see if we can find, like, I guess the latest version, if you will. This looks like these might be, like, the same one. I feel like this is kind of what we're looking for here. Yeah, that looks kind of close to it. What do you guys think? Why do they have to put a blue? Why do they have to put a watermark on these? That's kind of annoying. Ooh, that thing is pretty slick looking though. The Robo Dino is what you want? Okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's good. I'm trying to get... Yo, that's crazy. That background. That's crazy that I have like a that exact material for that background. These things are wild looking, man. Should we make it extra challenging and try to model it only on like one image? That would be crazy, right? That would be crazy. No, we're not going to do that. See, I think this and this are the same, right? Hold on. Is this and this the same one? I'm going to just assume they are. Let's just go ahead and let's grab this image here. Let's grab this image here. I think these are the same. They look almost exactly the same. Nah, they're a little different. They're a little different. I'm seeing, now that I look at it, no, it's still different. Hold on. No, I don't want to use that image. I want to use one that I know 100%. Oh, now you leave it. F1, that's what I said. I like F1. Okay, so like any F1 will work. Okay. This is really what I want, but in a higher quality, which is annoying that they don't have it. Let's do this. We'll go back to our size of our image. We'll go to large, and we'll try to find an image that is large that we can use as our reference. And once we do find a good reference, I promise we will start on the modeling of this. I'm just trying to find something that's going to work great, that isn't going to give me any issues. I feel like that could work. You guys are probably thinking, oh my God, this guy's stalling. He's stalling. I'm not stalling. I'm trying to find a good reference image. These are not great reference images. You know what's funny is a lot of these have like the topology on them already, so you can like kind of copy that, but it's always easier said than done when you're going to actually model the thing. Man, that thing is sleek. I don't get the little panel out here. You would think it's like less aerodynamic, but what the heck do I know? I don't really know anything about these. All right, I guess we'll just go with this one right here, and then we'll use a side angle of some of these as well. Bro, that's a waste of time. What's a waste of time? What, modeling? I don't think modeling is a waste of time. Is that what you're saying, or are you saying something different? I mean, you could, if you want to look at it like that, that's fine. I particularly don't think it's a waste of time, but that's just me. Is this? Yeah, that's the same as that. Okay, so this is really, I'm probably going to kind of go off of this first, and then I'm trying to see if there's any other references. This is a good reference too. Okay, I feel like these are good references. Let's kind of go for these, and then we'll kind of just wing it a little bit. I mean, I don't really see any like really fantastic views of this thing, so we'll just try our absolute best here. All right, so I'm just going to kind of delete everything that I have in my scene. I'll go ahead and add a reference image. Go to my downloads, and let's just go ahead and start. I'm really curious to see what this guy's saying is a waste of time, though. Let's start with this guy, and then let's do... Oh, yeah, what's cool is if you duplicate these, you can just go back and you can select a different image. Which one did I just select? Yeah, okay, so let's do this one, and then we'll just go ahead and select one more image. In this case, I have the green. And I have that, and I need this. Okay, perfect. All right, so for these guys, I'm just going to go ahead and flatten this guy. I'm going to flatten this guy. I'm going to keep this upright like that. This guy is going to go right here. Okay, right, and then this guy, we'll flip this guy upwards because we want him to be right about here. This is just going to be our big like reference image, just kind of just sit off to the side. So really, the way I usually start these... Wait, I still don't understand what we're saying is a waste of time, but okay, so usually the way I start these is I'll have my top-down view. This is a really clear, crisp top-down view that I think is perfect. And then what I'll do is I'll try to scale up everything else to like meet that top-down view. So I'm just gonna like add a cube to like get the general sizing of this thing, all right? I just need to get the length of it, because once I have the length of it, then I can match up the other image. That's pretty close. So like I have the length of it here, right? I need to match that up with this. So let's do that. This one kind of looks like it might be like AI. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll just go ahead and use it because it looks pretty darn close to what these other things look like. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if that scoop is there. This is gonna be a wild looking like thing. Like we're just gonna try our best, and if anything, it turns out to be like abstract, and it still will look cool. So I think I'll just start like piece by piece here. Let me go ahead and hide this. I think the best way to start is first by probably saving our file. Let's call this Formula 1. I'm tempted to say let's just start with like these weird fins because I think they're gonna be like the easiest part of this whole thing, which maybe you wouldn't think are, but I just see them as like planes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a plane here. I also want this image to be centered, so let me go ahead and do that. Just try to center it the best as possible. That looks pretty centered. Perfect. Push this back. We don't really need that yet, so actually I'm just gonna hide that. All right, so we have our plane. We'll scale it down. We'll probably end up subdividing it, so I'll just subdivide it now and scale it down, and we'll do like a mirror modifier. All right. All right, so this is my workflow is going to be a little bit different than most people's. This is just kind of what I like to do. So here's what I have right here. I'm going to delete this side. I'm just going to delete the vertices and add a mirror modifier. And again, mirror modifier will just flip it on the X here. And basically anything that I do, right, happens on the other side, as you guys know. So that's kind of the idea of like why we would use something like that. So I'm just going to start by just meeting these in the middle here a little bit. And then for the overlap, because there is a little bit of overlap, we'll just do like 0.1 for the merge. And we should be good to go. And now it's time to actually like model this thing. So here we go. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just go into my top-down view. I'll just kind of move this here. And I'm kind of just going to be starting at this like general position and just kind of, I don't know, like resizing everything. So I'm just going to like extrude, right? I'm going to also just bring these back a little bit here. I can't really see where this fin starts. I'm assuming it underlaps on the other one, so we'll just assume that for now. I'm just going to keep extruding, and what I'll end up doing is I'll just do it like a subdiv modifier here. We'll just like assume that it kind of like ends here. Like that. I'm going to assume it like ends like right here. So let's just assume that it ends right there. So you kind of have like this general shape, right? And then what I'll do is I'll add my subdiv. And we'll add that after the mirror modifier. That's starting to look really good. Now, there is a lot of like interesting things going on here, so I kind of want to see what that looks like. It looks like, yeah, I do have the same one. I'm just looking to see what it looks like down there. Okay, so this is part of the fin. So this entire thing goes into the fin, I guess. I don't know if I have the same car on both sides. Is this the same as that? I'm not 100% sure. Hold on, let me check the other reference image. Yeah, let's just assume this is the fin. So if this was the fin, then you would have this piece kind of come up here. So you would have it like kind of come up like this, right? And then we would crease the edge there as well. But since this looks like it's all going back, I'm gonna click on this, press E and X, and we're gonna kind of piece this together like this. Like that. And we're just going to assume that's like that back part there and that the fin comes up. We'll have to like add a loop cut here and then bring this in like that. So it looks like it kind of bows in a little bit. And then obviously we're going to have to line the fin up as well. This is not properly lined up. I thought it was. Okay, why? I thought I lined this up properly. No? Maybe I didn't. Okay, maybe I just have like two completely different cars here. Why don't we just make this a combination? Here's what we're going to do. I promise we'll still do this, but we're just going to make this a combination of each car. So we're going to kind of make it like our own little Formula 1 car. How does that sound? Good? Well, too bad because we're doing it anyway. All right. So what's cool about this, though, is now we can kind of like, we can decide like how this thing's going to look, which is kind of fun. I don't really know much about aerodynamics, so I'll just try to like make this thing look kind of interesting. So far, this is looking good. I'm going to shade it smooth, and then I'm going to add a solidify modifier. see if I can do that before. Yeah, that looks good. Actually, let's do it after the mirror. There we go. Although, come again, hold on a second. You know what? We'll do this. We'll do solidify. And why does it look so weird? How many subdivs did I do? That doesn't look bad. Now let's try solidify after that. All right, that looks a little bit better. All right, we'll come back to this. I'll shade it auto smooth for now. But this is looking good. So I'm going to repeat that process with the other fins as well, and we'll kind of go from there. If you guys aren't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and make sure you check out all of CG Cookie's content. We've been putting out some pretty cool videos lately, so something to check out there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this, okay? And I'm going to scale it in on the Y. And then I'm going to delete the pieces that I don't need, which are like these pieces up here on the top. So like all this stuff here, I don't really need that anymore. So I'm going to delete those vertices. I'm going to see what's left down here. Press L to select. And we are left with this, which is perfect because we have a second fin that's going to come back. We'll scale it on the X. We'll go to our top-down view. We'll see how far it comes back. Again, I'm just kind of like sort of estimating some of this stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. GY. And the reason I'm not detaching this from the other thing is because I want it to just all be like one piece. Why can't I press L? There we go. I want to SX to scale it, GX, and then we'll have to resize these pieces here. Here we go. GX, GG to slide, again, GG to slide, right? I'm kind of just placing these where I think they go. Hopefully I'm grabbing the correct vertices here. SY0 to snap, and then rotate and push to the edge there. Again, just kind of resizing these. Let's see how it looks so far. Good, so we have our second fin. It's hard to see because I don't have my cavity, or my, here we go. Now we have the cavity turned on. You should be able to see that. So there's your second fin, and then we'll just duplicate that one more time. And I think I'll just duplicate this exact piece, and then we'll resize it again. Shift D to duplicate, and then we'll just do GY or GX to bring it back. Perfect, now we have the second fin. Let's see where it sits. It sits right about here. And then we'll SX to scale it. And then we'll just resize again. We'll recalibrate all these things. GX to bring this up. GX, GX, GX again. And we should be good to go. This piece will come out. This piece will come out. This piece would also probably come in. Kind of scale all this stuff in. Yep, and these pieces would scale in and in. And I feel like that's more or less kind of it. Oops, I scaled the wrong things. Wait, did I? Hold on. Edit, redo. I want to redo that. Hold up. It's really, oh, you know why I can't tell? Because there's a piece that's over top of it. That's why. All right, now I'm gonna stack these properly. So I'm just gonna move this down more because I do think these things are closer than they appear. Like I think they're right about there. I think that's like more or less like the setup for the first part. And then you're probably thinking, okay, that looks good, but then we want to have these kind of like curve inwards. We'll do that as well. So let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I do think that we're looking at separate, we're definitely looking at separate things here. This is more or less how I'll go about modeling, like at least this first part here though. And I do think it looks pretty good. So let's frame it. Thoughts so far, guys? I think we're getting somewhere with this. I can't really tell like what's going on the outside. I do think it has, some of these have like a fin. I'm just looking to see like what this looks like. Some of these have another fin that goes outwards, like right here. They have a fin that goes like this. So like I don't really know if we're gonna like do that or what. And I also don't love the way that just looked, so like maybe not. Let me just see something. We could also do like, hold on, you see how close that was? Yeah, we could also take this, slide it down, and just take like maybe this part here and EY. Nah, it's gonna look weird. Hold on, let me see if I can. I'm just curious what this would look like. Yeah, not exactly ideal. I say we leave it for now. I actually think it already looked pretty cool as is, so I might just leave it at this for now. I'm like relatively pleased with the way it's looking. You said you don't like it? You do like it? All right, for our next step, I think for our next step, I'll probably just start creating this, like, whatever this thing is. I'm tempted to say I'll probably just create that out of, like, a cube. So I just feel like that makes the most sense. Kind of scale this down, kind of go top-down view. I'll just hide this for a minute. So I'll probably just start this here. Now, we already know we're going to do kind of like a subdivision surface type of deal here. So I'll just kind of start that. I'm going to start by just kind of scaling this up. And then I'll take the front face. Let's see. I'm going to scale it on the Y. Okay. I'm going to go into my top-down view with our X-ray mode. Scale this up a little bit. There we go. Now we're talking. All right, now what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of scale each individual thing, and I'll eventually get the actual profile of it as well. Okay, and then I will do this. We'll do EX. We'll keep extruding. I'm just going to kind of go for this one. I don't think this is going to be anything significant in terms of like topology. Like this isn't like a topology study, right? There we go. And then I think right here is like a good pausing point. So we're going to have something that looks kind of like that. It's really nothing too crazy, right? I do need to add a loop cut here because the bottom's going to be like that. The top's going to be like that. And I think the entire thing kind of like slopes down. So we're going to kind of work on that. In order to do that, I'm actually going to take this edge here. And I think I'm going to turn on my proportional editing. So like, see how I can kind of like bend it down like that. So now I can kind of turn on my proportional editing. I'm going to do a spherical right here, right? And then we can actually decide like, okay, where does this thing like start and stop, right? And this is kind of the cool part of Blender is like, there's just so many tools like that we have access to. Also going to slim it down because I think it's much slimmer than that. Shade it smooth and we kind of start to see this thing's like kind of starting to take shape. Although towards the top, it's a little bit more like rounded. So I'm going to kind of push this back. Push this down a little bit. It's starting to look like half decent. It's not perfect, but it's starting to look half decent. Especially when you pair it up with this, you can kind of start to see that it's starting to like come together. And this piece, I think, would go like right here. It's starting to come together. That's like sort of how I would begin that part, at least, more or less. 1 second, guys. All right, so we got that. Let's take a look at what's next. Ooh, before we move on to like the main body part, let's go ahead and get these like struts in here, whatever these like strut things are called, the things that I guess attach to the base of this. And I think for these, I'll probably just end up using, I'll probably use a plane, let me think. I'll use a plane for these for now. And we'll come back and see if we need to use something different. And same concept again, I'm going to split this with a subdivide. I'll just go ahead and delete this edge. Perfect. And now we'll do a mirror. And we'll just mirror this over to the y-axis. And we'll kind of start here. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, it's mirroring it twice. I don't want that. I want it to just be the once. Okay, perfect. All right, so I think for this part, I'm just going to kind of piece this together as I see fit. I have proportional editing on. Be careful if you ever do that. That is that is like a big mistake. Do not keep that on. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of extrude this out. I do think these are straight, so you know what? Let me just think about this for a second. I'm gonna kind of just do this very peacefully here. And I'm gonna click on these loops, go to my loop tools and do relax. Oops. Wait, let me think about this first. I'm gonna undo this. Hold on. I'm gonna undo this all the way to, yeah, right here. So I just want to EY. I want it to be like this, so it's like more or less perfectly straight. I just want everything to be like nice and aligned. There we go, that's better. Let's just see where we're at here. Kind of bring these down here. These are gonna end up having like a solidify modifier, so I'll just add that now. And they'll probably have a subdiv after that to kind of square them up a little bit, if that makes sense. Or not square, I'm sorry, not square them up, to give them a little bit of thickness and a little bit of stability there. Let's go ahead and bring this thickness up a little bit. And I'm also going to add a loop cut here because this part goes up against that. Perfect. Now we start to have like the pieces that we're looking for, right? Now towards the edge, it kind of flares out. So what I might do is kind of like scale this out like that, just a little bit. Kind of rotate it a little bit. Something like that. That looks pretty decent. It kind of like attaches to the body there, so I'll kind of keep it like that. And then for our next part here, there's going to be an underside to this. So there's like, it's like a duplicate of itself. But before I do that, I'm going to actually tab into edit mode. I'm going to press A to select everything. Shift D X to duplicate. Go ahead and put this here. And then I'll take these three pieces, move them here. Extrude again. And this is kind of like where they'll end up connecting. We'll smooth that out later. Everything's looking good so far. Now we have to, well, connect these two pieces. They look like one looks like it's underlapped on the other one, but for the simplicity of like this tutorial, I'm probably just going to connect them in a way that I see like best fit. So let's do that. Oops. Extrude that one more time. Extrude those one more time. All right, so what I'm thinking here is kind of just like one of these guys, right? One of those guys, and then we select this edge loop, extrude it, SY0 to snap, maybe something like that. There we go. Thoughts, guys? I feel like that looks pretty decent, and I think it's the exact same thing on the other side. Like, I think it looks like this on the other side. It's just shifted like that. Yeah, I feel like it looks kind of like that. That's like my impression is that's kind of what it looks like. I feel like this is starting to look like half decent though. Thoughts, guys? Thoughts? I think it looks good. An F1 model is crazy because there's just so many details, and like a lot of the stuff I can't even really like see what's happening or like what this looks like. Like there's a fin here, like there's like an airplane fin. Like I'm gonna try my best to get that. And I think like with the airplane fin, you're gonna laugh at how simple that is. Though, ready? Watch this again. Like a plane, right? Kind of come over here, scale it down, right? And you're probably thinking that I'll scale it down to the size of that, but I'm actually going to scale it down to the profile, like this, right? And then I'm going to bring it down, tab into edit mode, SZ. I'm going to go ahead and give this a solidify. Watch this. This is going to be our fin, right? It's going to sit here. Let's see. It's going to sit like right there. And then we just have to kind of model the like curvature of it. So it kind of starts thinner in the back. So if you go and take this, kind of like that, and then you just do a little subdivision surface. But we'll do that before. And then you just take this, scale it up, and boom, you have your fin. That simple, right? And then you, of course, shade it smooth, and boom, there's your fin that's going through. And that's like a really simple way to do that. I feel like that's like a clean, like kind of hacky way to do it, but it kind of works. Shade this auto smooth. There we go. Nice. And I do think this comes up a little bit more. But I do think that's like generally what it looks like. Something like that. What do you guys think? That's kind of a clean hack, isn't it? I like that. All right, cool. All right, so we have our pieces here. There's this kind of like, I want to say these are like for the bearings. I don't know if this is like a tie rod or what that is, but we'll just make that out of like a cylinder. And it looks like it's coming through the middle of here. Or I guess that's for steering. Is that for steering? Maybe that's what it is. We'll just go ahead and add a cylinder. Scale that down. Bring it over here. And we'll just do a mirror modifier on the y-axis, and we'll select this as our inverse. Scale this down, S, Y, scale it, scale it, scale it. Kind of bring it into position here. Hold up, before I do that, we scale it. Perfect. Okay, now I want to kind of get this like little beveled edge here, or like this area where it kind of gets inset. So I'm going to bring this here. I'm just doing Control R for loop cuts. And then I'll select both of these loops. Scale them down. GY. And we're kind of looking at something like that. Right? I feel like that's generally the shape that we're looking for. And now we have that. We'll go ahead and rotate it. Scale it up a little bit. And we'll move it up into place. Although now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, do these pieces need to be a little bit further apart? Maybe they do. Oopsies. Cool. And I'm just going to assume this goes straight into the wheel. Yeah, I'm going to assume that's kind of how it works. You're going to have to come back in 2 hours. I know. I'm not the quickest modeler, but it takes time, you know? It takes time. All right, let's mock up these wheels real quick. I'm going to do a mirror modifier on the Y and the X, and I'm going to use this guy. Because we want 4 tires. And actually, I'm going to do the mirror object is just going to be an empty plane axis. And I'll just use that. Perfect. And then we'll just go ahead and rotate these guys. Scale these guys down. There we go. That doesn't look right, does it? No. Are the tires really that big, or am I overestimating the size of these things? I guess they really are that big. All right, let's just give a little bevel to these guys, eh? Little bevel action. Let's also object apply scale so we can fix that. Little bevel guy here. All right, so there's our wheels. We'll kind of put those there as like a placeholder. This is going to help us kind of like visualize the entire object, right? And again, this is not perfect, right? This is not the perfect Formula One car tutorial, but I think it's starting to look pretty good. All right, and I think we're all thinking, oh my God, this looks like a beast, and it does. But I think we can I do think we can like somewhat manage it if we like take our time and figure out what each piece is going to be like. This piece will be interesting. I honestly see this being like a plane with like a subdiv. I know, everything's just a plane. It's a plane, it's a plane. All right, so for our cube, this is going to be interesting here. We have kind of like these 3 areas here where we can kind of like expand into. Man, I'm curious to see what this is going to look like. Okay, this kind of butts up here. You know what I'm thinking? I don't know why I didn't think this. This entire thing should be a mirror modifier. Duh. So let me add a loop cut in the middle, snap it, delete everything else on the other side. I'll just delete all the vertices because we don't need them anymore. And we'll do a mirror modifier. There we go. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. Okay, cool. Now that we have that, though, we can kind of like break this piece off into like the parts that it should be. And I think we would start, this is going to be tough because I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try it. Like we would kind of start here, and this would be like, this would start to break apart and become this piece here. However, there's an interesting like dynamic where this kind of like shifts into the other area of this mesh. So let me just think this through before I do anything crazy. I do think either way there's going to be like this weird like thing going on here. Like right here, there's something going on, right? Where like this merges into the other mesh. So we're going to have to just kind of keep that in our thoughts. There we go. Yeah, that's going to kind of have to come into the other mesh. Maybe the other mesh will be like completely separate though, because I'll be honest, I just think it makes more sense. All right, now for this other mesh, this will be interesting. I'm actually thinking, believe it or not, of kind of using a cube for this and kind of just like mocking this thing up like this, kind of scaling this up, subdividing it, and then do a mirror modifier again. Hold up. There we go. All right, mirror on the Y. Just make sure everything looks good. There we go. Okay. All right, I think we're good. All right, so this will be interesting. I'm thinking we will start everything here. We'll have a merge of like, I don't know, 0.1. Please go ahead and do it with AI and sleep. That's funny. That's funny. I find this just so much more fun. I'm assuming you're trolling. I'm just gonna go ahead and like assume you're trolling. Which, if you are, my friend, well done. You've successfully trolled me. You win. You win the internet, my friend. All right. Let me just go ahead and there we go. Perfect. Let's add a subdivision surface. Okay. All right. I just kind of want to get this like general like body shape down, and then we'll be good. I feel like that's like the general body shape, more or less. Bro is trolling about AI. That's crazy. Oh, that AI can do it faster? Oh my gosh. Oh, you're telling him. Oh my god, that's so funny. That is so funny. My fault. My fault. I didn't realize it was to him. But either way, that is, I don't know why. It makes me laugh because it's like, you can. I mean, sure, you can do it with AI. I don't care what you do. But I think for me, like, I enjoy this process so much more. Why is it being so weird right here? Is it the merge? Oh, maybe it's the merge. Might be. I want to see. I want to see what this looks like. Hold on. Okay, so it kind of comes up in the front. Okay, you can do that. Let me just see this. it kind of like comes up like that, sort of. I feel like. I know it kind of looks weird right now, but I think it might work. It might work. I don't know. We'll see. It's like the general shape. And I think the merge is messing up this backside here. Why are we getting such weird like results back here? What is happening? I don't know what's going on right back here. I really don't. Hold up. Did I do something weird here with the... Oh. It's because, I see what it is. It's because these are joined and they shouldn't be joined. Delete the edges, delete edges, delete edges, delete edges. That's why. Okay, that was weird, but we fixed it. And we are good to go. We'll come back to that later. That'll probably be covered anyway, but cool. All right. Now where were we? Oh my gosh, this thing looks so stupid. Speed chart can sculpt, remesh, UV unwrap, and texture very complex characters in an hour. If you're not close to that level, then you need to reconsider your profession. I love CG Cookie. He's the best I've ever learned from him. I am only stating the obvious. Clipping problem, Alt F normals. I hope the constituent has invested all their money into those AI companies. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying, you know, we can have, if you want to have this conversation, we can have this conversation. I'm not saying that AI isn't cool or like useful. I mean, it certainly is. I think for me, I just enjoy this. And also like on top of enjoying it, I feel like there's more for me to learn from doing this manually than there is for me just using an AI to like replace my own creativity and problem solving skills. That's just me personally. That's my perspective on it. I don't know how you guys feel. Maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you don't. But it is, you know, it has to be a realistic conversation because yes, there are people's jobs that are getting replaced by AI. It's a reality. It's already been happening. There's thousands of people getting laid off every day because of AI, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being creative. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I'll probably always want to do anyway. And I would much rather do this manually and have complete and full control over my 3D model and make mistakes along the way than have an AI like do it for me. Now I use AI. I'm not going to say I don't use AI, but I just don't use it for that purpose. I'll use it for like maybe like coming up with like quick scripts or like doing quick edits to something. But other than that, it's really just a tool, just like anything else. The other part of it is you could do it in AI, but then pull it into Blender and like animate it. You know what I mean? You can do that as well. So I'm not going to hate on AI. I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world, but will it replace my job? I don't know. Hasn't so far. So hopefully it doesn't, you know, knock on wood. I really hope it doesn't. I really enjoy doing this stuff, but I don't know. It is what it is. You know, I can't control the future. So I'll just kind of go with the flow. Like if there's something I can do to prevent myself from losing my job, you better guarantee that I'm going to do it, you know? So, but we'll get there when we get there. And hopefully that's not anytime soon, right? Is my hope. All right. Now, where was I? I think this is a completely different car. I'm pretty sure it is. Does that make sense though? Constituent, the constituent. Does that kind of make sense? I mean, I probably could have explained it like a little bit better, but all right, let me just see the backside. Where's my other reference? There it is. All right, I kind of want to see where I'm at because I kind of lost my train of thought there. All right, so there's like this panel that comes down here. Love, 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 he says. He says, love, love, love. All right, so for this part up here, man, it's tough to see like what this is going to actually look like. What I do think. I do think this comes out more. I don't know. That's my viewpoint on it. And it is like something that's like you can't be afraid to like have that conversation, like, because it's not an impossible thing that AI replaces your job, right? It is very much something to worry about. Like, it is, right? That's why you just kind of have to be like willing to quickly adapt. Oh, you know what? Are the back tires bigger? Oh, they are. Whoops, I didn't realize that. Let me fix that. I didn't realize the back tires were bigger. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Now I know. And also, I think these tires probably could be a little bit bigger as well. Is that good? I feel like that's more accurate. Yeah, because I think the back tires are bigger. Okay. All right, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to duplicate these strut things because there's two of them in the back as well. Actually, I'm just going to take these and watch this. I'm going to shift D and X, and then I'm going to flip them. I'm going to go to mesh, mirror on the X global. I'm going to press GZ, sorry. I can't tell if they're overlapping like the same way. I think they're kind of similar. Let's just come back to that either way. And then I think there's also, is there like those tie rod things back there? I don't know, but we'll come back to that. It is good to use free assets from platforms to make renders of ourselves to post social media. Oh, hold on, let me go back. Did I miss something? Please create Blender tracking CGI ads. Oh, like 3D tracking. Yeah, that could be something we could look at. Is it good to use free assets from platforms? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using free assets as long as you have the permission to use them for like to attract clients. Yeah, that's fine. I do it all the time. Will it be re-topologized later, or is that not necessary? Does it only need subdivision? You can re-topologize it later if you want to like make it into like a game asset or something like that. But for me, I'm just kind of modeling for fun. I'm not really preparing this for anything, if that makes sense. Should I? Probably, but I'm not. But I probably should, and I could, if that's what you're asking. But that's okay, because for right now, we're not. All right, I think that I'm not sure what this shape looks like, I'll be honest, but I'm just going to model as much of this as I can. I mean, so far, this is what we have. It does look kind of like silly, but I actually don't think we did like a terrible job on the front, especially with like these pieces here. This doesn't look that bad, though. Yeah, and that's exactly, that's the other part of it is like, learning how to like do the work is important. Just because you might have someone who's like, well, actually, I want everything made from scratch in Blender, or I want you to take my model and improve it in Blender. So there's a part to that that's like kind of important as well. So something to think about, right? Food for thought, but to each their own. To each their own is all I have to say. All right, for this wing, I just want to see what this wing looks like. Oh, this wing's wild. I think we're going to make, how about this? I'm going to make my own wing. That's what I say. I might make it out of this. Let's see if we can duplicate this and select. I want to select this. I want to delete all of these vertices. I want to select this. I want to delete all the vertices. And then I want to select all of this and I want to flip it. I want to mirror it on the Z global. Okay. I just want to see what these wings look like. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so let's do this. Let's delete this, 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 and this. Actually, let's do this. Let's detach this whole thing, the top part at least. Let's do right-click, separate selection. Haha, and then we have just this as the wing. So now we can kind of use this, right? And this will be like the first flap. And we're also going to straighten everything out. So I'm going to select this SX0 to snap it. We're going to put it here. And we're going to do the same thing for all those loops. Oopsies. And we're not going to do proportional editing. And look at that. Now we have our nice flat wing that is, let's see. There's going to be 3 sets of them. It's tough to see. It's tough to tell on some of these views. Like, is this part of the wing? Is it not? Yeah, it's a little bit tough to say. I'm just snapping everything to like get it perfect, somewhat perfect. This wing is going to be really interesting for me because there's so many ways we could go about this. Right? First of all, I guess it would be more like that. Right? And there's going to be 3 parts to this. So like this is going to be like duplicated here on the X, but then it's going to be brought down. Right? And then how many are there? 1, 2, 3. GX. And I think I kind of want to try something. I want to see if we can give this a simple deform. But hold on, I want to simple deform it, and the object I'm deforming it from is this. Let's do bend. Let's try bend from this. Why is it giving me such a hard time right now? Yeah, this thing's being kind of wackadoodle. Okay, bend on the Z. Whoa, what, bro? All right, this is not doing what I thought it was going to do. Does anybody have issues with this sometimes? Oh, you know what? Set origin to geometry. There we go. Okay, we're not going to do it then. All right, it doesn't want to do it for me, but that's fine. Also, I need to unset the origin to geometry because it should not be there. There we go. All right, instead, what we could do to kind of like make it go up, like and curve out, is we could just do it manually. I don't even know that it does that. Actually, it does on one of them. But if you really wanted to, you could turn on your proportional editing, right? You could go here. You could grab all of these and just bring them up. And then you could go like give it one of these, you know what I mean? And that's what I love about Blender is like I just made my own little fin and I actually don't think it looks terrible. Although I do think this needs to be brought up. It's kind of cool though. It's a vibe. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I don't know how it's attached. It's really not attached, but we'll kind of come back to that, I guess. Nice. I love that stuff. All right, I missed some of the comments. Hold on a second. We'll probably start to wrap this live stream up here in a second. You were going to remodel earbuds? Realm Buds Air 8, but wasted a whole night, was not able to model the opening part of the case. Okay. So what was the thing you were trying to model? Because I'm kind of getting sick of this Formula 1 car, to be honest. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also like, I'm kind of over it, you know? I'm like ready to move on to like a different project. Like this is one of those things that like if I really had the real blueprints, I'd probably spend a lot more time on it, but I don't really love like the middle, but I do think we got like some of the main parts of it, which I'm pretty like happy with. At least like the basic like topology of it. What is the product you were just talking about though? Because I kind of want to see if I can model it. What did you say it was? Realm Buds Air 8. These? Is this what you were trying to model? Realm Buds Air 8. You were trying to make the case? Or were you trying to make the earbuds themselves? Or both? Was it both? They're pretty cool looking. That's a cool looking product. It's got a nice little bevel to the case and all that good stuff. Let's see. They're a pretty cool looking product. I could, the hard part would be the inset. It was everything you were trying. Oh, everything. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we could try something like this. The case is pretty simple. I think you said you were struggling with the case or you were struggling with Which part of it were you struggling with? The opening part of the case. Oh, like where the actual earbuds sit, like the inset part down here. I could see that being a challenge. Yeah, that definitely would be a challenge. Absolutely. We can try it. I don't really have like the product in front of me, which makes it a little tougher, but the front part of the case got difficult to model. Like this part here. Here, let's see what we can do. I think we could model this. I wish I had a top-down view of this, but we'll go off of like just this image for now, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, I'll just do like a quick like overview. The front part of the case, yeah. Okay, all right. The part above the green light, you said? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'll show you how we would do that. So I'm just gonna start with a cube and my reference image. Did I download the reference image? I think I did. Okay. All right, so what I would do is I would kind of start by just like modeling the case because I feel like that's the simplest to model. So I'll just kind of take this cube. Here, hold on, let me do this. I'm just trying to size it up properly. Okay, I'll go into X-ray mode, take the cube. I'm just going to kind of scale it to like what I think the height will be generally. I think it'll generally be that height. Let's just say it was. The first thing I would do is I would make sure there's like a couple loop cuts here because you're going to want to inset that part. So I would probably start. Let me just think this through first because I don't want to give you any incorrect answers here. Yeah, I would start with a loop cut here towards the top. I would do 3 loop cuts. I would do a loop cut here, here, and then I would do one right here. I would take all 3 of these, scale them down really, really close to each other, okay? And we'll come back to that in a minute. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to bevel we're either going to bevel the sides or we'll inset on the top. Let me just look. I'm trying to think this through so I can make sure I do everything exactly correctly. Okay, I'll do a loop cut here for the start. I'll bring this in like that, right? Actually, before I do that, let me do a loop cut on the bottom too. All right, now I'll take my top and bottom. I will scale those in like that, right? Okay. Also, this whole thing, it has to be a little, I think it's like more like this. So I'm just scaling right now, right? So I think we have a shape that looks generally like that, okay? And then for our inset and bevel, we're going to want to make sure we have an inset on the top. So let's like inset that a little bit, okay? And then I think if we add a bevel on the corners now, like on these corners, we should be okay. So I'll take I'm just going to test it on just this corner. If I bevel right now and I do that, I'll get something that looks kind of like that, which is kind of what we're looking for. However, I do need to go to Object, Apply, Scale first, and then when I bevel, I should get a slightly smoother bevel. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to Shift-click all these while holding Alt, and then I'm going to bevel and try to match that bevel. I feel like it's something kind of like that. You can get it as perfect as you want. I won't spend like too much time on the bevel. I'll shade it smooth. And then what I would do from there is I would probably take my inset. So I would shift click the middle inset. I would scale it in like that to kind of get that like crease, if that makes sense. And now the hardest part is going to be this little cutout. You could use a Boolean and just cut into it, but I'll show you like a slightly different way to do that. I would take this face, I would subdivide it 1, 2, 3 times maybe. I would go to the front view. I would just select like a couple of these like squares here. I would select this loop here first. Bring this up, GG to slide. I would probably select these 2 faces. Maybe there might be more. So here's what I'll do. I'll do this. I'll do these 2. I'll do SX like that. Kind of scale them out. I'll take these 2 here. I'll push these in to the Y part here. However, I need a loop cut first. So let me add a loop cut here. And here, I need them to be really close to the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just something close to the edge. And then I'll add, sorry, I hope you can see this. I'll add these two here. I'll push them in like that. And now I kind of have that little like piece there. And that's just kind of what I would do. And then after that, then I would add another bevel on top of everything like this. And then that's kind of the case right there. I'll go ahead and turn on cavity so you can really see that. So yeah, so that's the, and then if this is like, if this inset's not, if it's too much, you can take this top part down, bring it down a little bit more, right? Or you can even take this bottom part down and bring that up. And since everything's on loops, you can bring them all up if you decide that you need to like adjust that. So that's kind of how I would do that. That's like more or less like how I would model that part. And then since the top side has an inset here, what I would do is I would go to the inset right here. I would, you're going to laugh, I would inset it again. And then one more time. And now you're going to have something that looks kind of like this. You have like all these insets sitting here. I would take the middle loop and just bring it down a little bit. And now you have that like notch at the top. And there you go. And that's kind of like how I'll go. That's kind of like how I'll go about doing something like that. Now the earbuds are a totally different thing, but for the most part, the case isn't too hard. Obviously the bevel's not like perfect. Like this part probably comes up even more. Like I probably would go, I don't really have a side view of this thing, but if I did, I would probably bring this up more, like something like that, right? But for the most part, that's what I would do. Let's save that. That's what I would do for the earbuds case. Why not Boolean for the lid opening gap? Oh, you can do a Boolean. It's just if you want to do like the regular modeling for it, you can do it this way. Yeah, there is. There is a you want me to model a hippocampus? A hippocampus. Hold on, I gotta go check on, make sure everything's good with the child, my child, and then I will go ahead and we'll come back to that, okay? I promise. Guys, give me like 1 minute, okay? I'll be right back. And when I come back, we will maybe model a hippocampus, all right? Liz, how are we doing? Okay, guys. All right. All right, we're going to do like maybe 15 more minutes of live streaming, and then we are going to call it, okay? Let's just see. Let's do like one more modeling thing. One more thing from the back. It has joints when we open the caves. Oh, it has joints. Yeah, the joints, let me see. What does that look like? Does it show them? Are these like really good? Is this like a really good product? Is that what it is? Stream Soundcore Liberty 4 NC. What's that? What was I about to look up? We'll come back to this because I want to make sure I get to other people's comments as well. It's an interesting looking case. I mean, like, if you were to, like, make it gold like this, that'd be kind of cool. You can match this lighting and all that. It's a cool looking thing. All right, hippocampus. Hippocampus. Isn't that a part of the body? Hippocampus. What the heck? The hippocampus? You want me to model a hippocampus? I don't even know how I would start. What in the heck? Maybe, I don't know. Like the water horse? Oh, the actual water horse, not the... Oh. Hold on. Hippocampus creature. Oh, water horse. Oh my gosh. A water horse? That is a whole nother... That might have to be saved for another live stream, but it's certainly possible. But I promise we will do that eventually. But that is a wild... I didn't even know this was a thing. Hippocampus. I had no idea this was even a thing. I mean, that's crazy looking. We could probably do something like that. It would be not easy, but Casena, what is it? Casena 172 Skyhawk. Did I say that right? Skyhawk. Oh, the plane? Oh, that'd be kind of a cool little thing. You did a great model. Good job. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We could... This plane. This is an interesting looking plane. Why do you have this plane? Is this a plane that you own or you have flown before? This actually would be interesting because of the like the propeller and stuff like that. It's a cool looking plane though. I hear my baby freaking out upstairs. I might have to log off, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you what, if you guys tune into the next live stream, I will do some of these models, I promise, but I don't have time at the moment. So I want to say thank you guys so much. I will get back to all of your modeling. I promise we'll do it next time. But I want to say thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy the live stream. I will talk to you soon in the next live stream. Have a great weekend. Be safe.